Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Newo Wellness Podcast, a space to grow and nourish all aspects of self. I am your host, Haley Rose. And I hope everyone's doing great. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, keeping busy, keeping positive, and, balancing your medicine wheel in all ways, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Our guest is going to be coming on shortly, just having some technical difficulties, but we'll get her on quickly here. Let us know where you're tuning in from today, and be sure to comment down below. We'll be able to pick those up and have a conversation with the audience as well. So I'm going to introduce to you guys today's special guest. I'm so excited. Tonia Jo Hall. In 2011, Tonia began producing YouTube videos as a means to reach out to the people, teach them to smile, think positively, and spread laughter. She graduated from Sitting Bull College in Fort Yates, North Dakota, with her bachelor's arts degree in 2014. Tonia is Lakota Dakota Hidashita, a mother of two, and she's been pursuing comedy full-time since 2014. Tonia brought her comedy to the stage in 2011, and since then, she's been busy producing videos, motivational speaking, doing stand-up comedy, various casinos, celebrations, and events throughout the U.S. and Canada. I'm so excited to introduce to you guys somebody that I look up to, somebody that is a great mentor and is so inspirational. So I welcome you guys, Tonia Jo Hall.
Hi.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good. I'm excited.
You're excited?
Yeah, I'm glad we kind of did a pre-interview before the interview because it got the nerves out and we had the other girls on. It was nice to visit for, just to get it out. But I'm happy and excited. Yeah, that helped me.
It can be nerve-wracking coming on here, and that's why I always remind my guests that this is just a conversation, and I don't ever want it to feel like an interview because I know that might intimidate some people. So I'm so glad that you could be on here. I know you have a busy schedule, but I kind of just want to dive right into our conversation today. About you, your personal story, your experiences in life, because you have a phenomenal story, Tonia, and I want to share this with, some of the Newo Wellness community. So I know that you do everything for your daughters. You were, a young mother and a mother of two, an amazing mother of two, beautiful daughters. But I want to know, how did that influence your career? Because you have done some successful things in life, and I kind of just want to understand, how did your kids influence you to guide you on the path that you're on?
Okay, so I like you said, I became a mom really young. By the age of 19 and 20, I already had two kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely wasn't easy. It was really scary. When you're a mom, and especially when you're a young mom, you're just trying to do your best. And I lived on the res at the time. I lived in Standing Rock. And a lot of times, and I didn't know what I was going to do. Like I knew I was in college at that time at Sitting Bull, pursuing criminal justice, which I just kind of randomly picked. It wasn't like, I have a dream to be a cop or a probation officer or a judge. I was just like, I need to fucking pick something quick. I don't know if we can on here, but
almost felt rushed or pressured to get something because you're in university.
Yeah, because I'm a mom and I need to have my shit together. I need to have a career, and I'll just pick one. I'll just do it. And so I was in college. I was powwowing still, and I was with their dad for 5 years, and we love our girls really a lot, but it was really a hard relationship. It was toxic and abusive, and it definitely, I was really young in it too. And I just want to encourage everyone and anybody who is in a situation like that, to always remember to have your support circle, always remember to have your relatives and to let them help and to reach out to them. And I was really fortunate to always have my mom. And
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know, like, my mom is like the OG Beatrice. Like, she is like she's been a huge influence on how I made Beatrice. Obviously,
Mhm.
it's super exaggerated, but like, I grew up with my mom being really stern, and she made me into the woman I am. And I give her a lot of credit for helping me follow my dreams, but also push me to be the mother that I am, because my mom's hardcore. And she's
Yeah.
all of us have anybody who has a Native, Indigenous, First Nations mom, we know that they don't fuck around and they want the best for their babies. And that's how I was. Even though I had babies, I was still being
Mhm.
babied by my mom, and she was still like guiding me and leading me and getting after me and praying for me. That was huge. My mom praying, because she knew that she couldn't get me out of this relationship until I was ready. And prayers help. And I know it's a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
And it's been a belief, on my mom and my dad's side, but we really firmly believe in our traditional and cultural ways on my mom's side. And so, me and my kid's dad, we did have a toxic and abusive relationship. It
Mhm.
was really tough. And it's been the toughest learning I've had to do, because we eventually had to continue after we broke up to co-parent, and
Yeah.
healing at the same time as co-parenting. That's a tough thing, but it's possible. Like, I love my kid's dad. I care
Mhm.
for him. We have walked through and we have healed those hardships that we went through and that I went through.
How did you overcome, like, having how did you keep that relationship, like, good, so that your children had, parents that were able to communicate? Because I, like, personally, like, it's obviously hard, like, you're not with that person anymore, but you guys have kids together, so it's a whole different thing when you leave someone, but you have kids with them. But how do you keep, like, good communication with them? Because, like, you were still young, I imagine,
Yeah,
right?
I was young, I was feisty, I was fucking pissed, eh? But most of all, like, I feel like if I didn't wasn't able to see my parents, my mom and dad, and they were going through their addictions with alcohol, if I wasn't, they were my true models and leaders, role models. It didn't matter for me. I seen through, like, that they were dealing with their traumas through alcohol, but my
Mhm.
mom and my dad were my role models with co-parenting. I thought, if they could co-parent and raise me and share me
Yeah.
and both have individual time with me, why can't my kid's dad and I have that? And my parents still loved each other. Why can't I still love my kid's dad? And it wasn't easy. Like, I would just be texting him and bitching him out and mad at him, and you need to come see these kids. Yeah, I really would. I would be getting mad. Like, you know what? You dropped off those clothes. Those are nice clothes. Actually, I like them. But you know what? You need to stay for longer and visit them. Eh? You need to read books to them. Eh? I was like trying to like nitpick, and I was
Yeah.
trying to control somebody. And what it was teaching me is I had to go through that. I was doing I had a lot of anger, and we did go through all that. I was getting mad at him. I would bitch him out and we'd argue, and then we didn't stop though. Like, we didn't
Mhm.
I think 1 month I tried to like do that thing where you keep your kids away from their other parent to punish them. But really, I remember sitting on my mom's steps and downstairs, real scary, spooky basement. Just kidding. It is. I was just sitting there and I was like thinking, and I was like, my kids, I was looking at them and they're playing. They're just like playing and running around in their pampers like any other res kids Hey.
Oh
Bushy
my
hair.
God.
I was looking at them and I was looking at them and I was like thinking about how much I love them. I was thinking about how I was just trying to do the best job I could. And sometimes I wasn't doing the best job in my
But
eyes.
you were only like thinking as a mother and not
Yeah.
thinking from
And
the
I looked at
kids.
them and I started crying. And I remember sitting there crying. And I said, I can't do this to myself. I can't keep my kids away from their dad. No matter what we went through, I need them to make their own choice. I need them to have whatever love he can give them. I need that to be enough. It's
Mm-hmm.
not enough for me because I wanted him to be I wanted him to be how my dad was to me. And I remember him telling me, I can't do that. You want me to be like your dad? I'm not your dad. I'm me. And I thought,
Yeah.
yeah, we both had different upbringings. Like you're doing the best you could. And it took me a long time. And I had to start working on myself, honestly, because I couldn't change him. I freaking tried. Like, I fucking tried everything. I couldn't, he wouldn't listen to me. Until I realized all I can change is myself on how I am acting, how I'm
Yeah.
reacting, how I'm trying to force him to be the dad I want him to be for my kids. I had to um, really start healing and forgiving. And I didn't know how to do that. I prayed about it every day. I asked for forgiveness. And I have to say, there is no like guide on how to do that. We just hope that we're doing it. I hope that I was forgiving. I wanted to be released of all the traumas and the hardships that we had and
Mhm.
the abuse. I wanted to be free of that because I was sick of carrying that. And so we just continued. Like, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing, but we just continued to not give up on our kids. That's what drove us. He would drive me crazy sometimes. I'd be like, ooh, when I was trying to control him. And I had to realize that my kids came first, just like my kids have inspired me in my career. I only started pursuing comedy in between my 2 and 4 year degree because I wanted to do something extraordinary. I wanted to be someone. I remember specifically at Taco John's and on Standing Rock when the Hagels owned Taco John's. It was the best Taco John's like ever. Like, oh my gosh, when the Hagels, Clay and Hagel and Maria owned Taco John's in Standing Rock. Oh, that
You
was
went
that
there
was a
every Tuesday.
spot. That was the spot, and you know I don't know, I was there and I was ordering and I was just chewing my gum. I was just chewing it. I was just sitting there. Oh, my gum was good. And I looked down and my little girl, Lolly, she was looking up at me and she was watching my mouth. She was watching my mouth. I looked at her and she was like, she was chewing her gum just like I
How?
was chewing my, like,
How?
and I was looking at her and we were just going in sync. We're like, and I was
You're
like,
just synchronizing?
and I looked at her and I was like, jeez. And I had to think to myself, like, she's copying me. And I closed my mouth and I was like, and I really had to fucking think, man, like, as a young person, still trying to navigate life, but being a mom, I realized, like, I gotta do something extraordinary because I can't just be teaching these girls how to chew with their mouth open. Like, I have to be teaching them something out of this world. I have to create something, a legacy that I have to, like, mow a lawn full of weeds and I have to make it look the way I want it to look and create a path for them when there's no path. I have to create that. And I didn't know how I was going to do that because I kept getting told by community members, by relatives, not my mom, but by other people, extended family. They would say, you have 2 kids. You can't be going and traveling all over and good luck now. You have 2 kids. Like, basically, I'm doomed or like
Yeah.
my life is over. And I fucking hated it. And I've always been a person who resisted people doubting them. I resist when people don't believe. I believe for myself and beyond, and I believe for the people. And anything is possible. And people are always saying, you can do anything you want, reach for the stars and dream big. I didn't know what the fuck that meant until I was in complete survival mode to create a legacy for my kids, for them to look at me and to think more of just my sobriety, not just my mom just don't drink and smoke, but my mom's an incredible human being. Like my mom so I stepped into comedy, and I was scared. I was fucking scared. If you go back to my YouTube videos, they're embarrassing, and I don't know how to delete them.
But they're so good.
Oh my God, the beginning of those videos, I can't erase them. So go enjoy them while you can, because we all start somewhere. But we all started somewhere, and I just felt embarrassed of those videos. But it's all right. I started doing comedy,
but I think that's the best part, is when you can look back and see how much you've grown. Because like 10 years ago, those jokes, you still had those jokes, but you look at yourself now and like you see what you created, but that was your gift. Like you were supposed to do that, and you did that for your daughters. And so like a lot of people, will do, something for other people, but at the end of the day, I think you were doing it for yourself too, that you needed to do that just because you wanted to do it. And then it also, was being done for your daughters, because, those are your lovers, like those are your everything. That's your whole world is your kids. And they admire that. I admire that. And I think I know you want to erase those videos from like how long ago, but you're going to be able to look at that even in like 30 years and be like, that's where I started. Yeah. That's where it started. And you laugh now. You laugh and think it's funny, but like in how many years you're going to get emotional, because you're going to see that and say, this is where it all began and it led me here today. So like you have to be thankful for those videos, because those videos got you here.
I know. Yeah, they did. There were humble times. And I mean, I felt like, I guess the way I'm using humble is I was like a broke college kid. It's enough being a broke college kid, but then putting 2 kids on your back. Oh, I was like, that's such a Tonia move to do that. But I feel thankful and grateful, because my kids being born, creating two lives, and giving birth to the most amazing humans that I know. Like they've taught me what the definition of unconditional love is, and I just had that realization a couple weeks ago, like not even that, maybe a week ago, that I kept saying I don't know what unconditional love is, but I realized that this whole time that my kids have been teaching me what that is. And it really is true. Like if you don't know it, you ask out loud, you ask the universe. All of us have our spirit helpers, and they do listen, and we do get the answers. And I definitely got that answer, like, what? My kids and I have an unconditional loving relationship, and we've been growing and healing all together, and it's been amazing. I feel really super proud, and it's the most amazing thing the most amazing experience in my journey is being a mom, because I fuck up a lot, and my kids still love me, like, and that's all right. Like, that's all right, because we're healing together. But most of all, they're teaching me how to use my voice. Like, I can cuss. Like, I only cuss off of my videos. Like, I only be me in the and I only be vulnerable and myself and around the people who are really close to me. But me cussing, me being able to like do whatever the fuck I want and say what I want and be truthful and honest and express myself the way I want to express myself, has been liberating. And have the encouragement of my teenage daughters and my inner circle of people. And I feel good, and I feel the healing, all the healing that we've been doing. I just feel it more than anything. And I'm 33, and apparently they say all this kind of stuff starts happening during this time. And I was like, dang, my 20s were fun. I didn't worry
Yeah.
about nothing. Like I was so optimistic and spontaneous, and now I'm learning how to be more organized, and I like it.
I think breaking like those barriers and cycles too. And just like when you said like that unconditional love, like no matter what you do or you say the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing, like your kids
Mhm.
are going to, love you, but say there's, other people out there, you do the wrong thing, they can detach themselves from you, and not be there for you, stop loving you. But your kids are always going to love you unconditionally. And something too, like when you were talking about, like I'm going to do the things that I want to do, be the person that I am, no matter what these people think. And I was actually like today, when I was driving into town, I was putting a filter on my face and I deleted it because I was like, I don't need this filter. I don't need this. I'm going to show who I am. I'm going to show you the little acne on my chin and, the scars, because this is who I am. And, I'm not going to, try hide it or anything like that. But I think something that I've admired about you too, and I know a lot of other people do, because if I see it, then, they obviously see it too, is just how body positive you are and how you're able to just be yourself, and you're not trying to impress other people. And that's, something that I admire about you, is that you're not trying to impress all these other people. You're being who you are. And I think like, I've seen that throughout a little bit of your journey. And since like I've gotten to know you, like through your work, but also like just personally, and getting to know the person that you are, but that you can be vulnerable and not, feel any shame or feel guilty. And I know that that comes when you're trying to be truthful, or you're trying to tell your story, or trying to tell the truth about the individual that you are, your identity. And I know that it is a vulnerable experience to, step out of your comfort zone and say things that are hard or difficult to speak about, or, hard things to do, hard things to say. Sometimes you don't want to post your body because, you don't look like these models or whatever, but that you're beautiful the way that you are. And you do that, like when I see the things that you post or some of the amazing things that you do, I like that it's very authentic and it's real, and that, you obviously have the laughter all the time, but that's, your gift. And that's spreading this beautiful medicine, because as Indigenous people, like we're funny, like we have the res accents, we have, the Nietzsche and all the little jokes. And I think by you sharing that with other people, like you're healing people with your gift. Is that exactly what you're doing? Is you're healing people with your laughter. But you've had like a lot of, I know, just by the way that, you're talking. And I really, I like that you're so open to talk about it, about, your individual and personal growth. Because
Mhm.
for a lot of people, right, that's something that we don't want to talk about because it's hard or it's difficult. Some of like the hardships or, battles that people have experienced in their lives. But when we talk about these things, and we give light to it, and we have conversations like this, people connect to this and resonate, and it almost, motivates people to want to do the same thing. And, like sometimes your jokes and stuff, I'm like, I can't take that the wrong way. I'm like, that's harsh. That's harsh. But it's so true. But it's true. And I've actually, like, I don't know if people believe this, but like the truth hurts.
Mhm.
It does. It does. Like when somebody says something that's true and you get like angry about it, then it hurt you in some way, but it might be true. It might be something that like you've experienced in your life, but we laugh about it because we don't know, like we're, like we're so traumatized in so many ways because of our history, but we get a good laugh out of some of the stuff. But I really admire like the way that you've grown and healed, and even the way that, like the situation with the co-parenting. Like I know for a lot of Native mothers or Native dads out there have trouble keeping that relationship for the kids. But something that you've done is, instead of you thinking of yourself as from the mother's perspective, you've put your head and your mind into the daughter's perspective. How would your daughters feel? How would your daughters, think about what you're doing, or how this might affect them, impact them in any way? And that's something that a lot of mothers, have to take into consideration too. And sometimes we forget, right? Like sometimes I don't want to put my shoes in somebody else's shoes because I don't see it that way. I just think about the way I'm feeling about it, or the way I think about it. And what you've done is, you're stepping out of that and saying, how would they feel though if I was the daughter? So this is why they need, the mother and the father. This is why, I'm going to teach them this. I'm not going to just teach them how to smack their lips, but I'm going to teach them like these things about life. And, like for a lot of Indigenous people too, is our families have been broken and our families have been very unhealthy and toxic, which wasn't our fault, which wasn't, to blame us for any of that because of, like history and stuff like that. But the fact that, we can step out of that and look at it from a different perspective, and, analyze it and think differently, and shift that narrative. And that's what you're doing. And it's important because for our generation, like me, just still being a kid, like still young, that I know we're going to move in a positive way. And I learned from this, you know what I mean? And just watching, the way that you take care of yourself, and the self-love and the self-appreciation that's important, to even maintain as a mother, to continue to be a good mother, because you have all this work, you have, your comedy, and this different person that, you are when you're Aunt Beatrice, but you also, are a mother, and you're just you. You're just you. And some people forget that, like some people forget that you're just a human. You're like normal, like everybody else. But I think people want to see that too, and I like that you show people, like what you do. But maybe you want to, like, share some of the things that you do for that self-care and that self-love. And
lately I really have been stepping into setting boundaries. I've learned about it in my self-development. And when I say self-development, it's just a fancy word for like looking up YouTube videos if I don't know what emotional regulation is, or emotional intelligence, or if I don't know, what are boundaries? Because I grew up, and maybe a lot of us have, but like with no privacy. What is it having privacy? So I've been a person who just like, I'll tell you everything that's on my mind. If I'm emotional or if I'm mad, I'll tell it all. And many times I remember even losing a friendship because I told something that was someone else's. I was asked questions about someone else, and I told them right what I heard. And I remember this was in my early 20s, getting in trouble for that and losing a long friendship, a 10-year friendship over that, because I blurted something out that I thought was the truth, and it was really hurtful. And I would, instead of not saying anything and not speaking on it because I don't have any business in it, I responded quickly, and it was a good life lesson. It was a good lesson for me, and I still had to go through those lessons of like not saying too much. But now I'm learning how to speak my truth, and that's all I can do is just speak my truth and what I've come to know and what I'm learning. Whether it's audiobooks, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I highly recommend you guys listen to like Russ's audiobook. You can get it. Actually, don't even have to buy it, and this is not good because he like obviously makes money off of it. But on YouTube you can listen to the whole book, and
you have your Kindle.
There's so many good parts there about manifestation and what you put in the universe, you'll get that. And lately I've been learning how to set boundaries, and I didn't know what that meant. I was like, I don't know what the fuck that means. Like, a boundary? Can you give me an example of that? And I'll be asking my sisters because they teach emotional intelligence at the great. They teach emotional intelligence at the someone's knocking at my door. Nobody comes over, but hold on 1 second.
Nobody comes over.
Nobody
Oh,
comes to
God.
visit me.
I bet you they just walked right into. Just kidding.
Hold on.
Tell them to just like Auntie Beatrice would. Boundaries. Tell them boundaries, Tonya.
Okay, I'm back.
You should tell them you can't come in. Boundaries.
Move right there. So anyways, I've been learning about boundaries, and this is an example of a boundary. And this also collides with body positivity. And also I've been really encouraged, and I want to mention my niece Eliza and my cousin Pudgy. They go to school down in Arizona, and they're my relatives on my MHA side. And I always feel really inspired by them because they post things about, like, they might be wearing something like a crop top, or they'll be wearing something fitting. And with First Nations, with us natives, it's always like, oh, that's provocative, or oh, that's too much, or oh, you should always be ready for ceremony. You should always look like you're going to ceremony. You know, it's always like, cover up, too much. Like, it's always body shaming. You're too skinny. You're too fat. Gee, look at the way you look. And that's body negativity. Body positivity, though, like every single body not commenting on their body. Why do we feel like that's okay to shame our relatives, to comment on how they look physically, but to be accepting of everyone's body, because everybody is different. And to see them embrace, and to go away from our home, to go to school, and to see them post themselves and their body, or even wearing a bikini. Like, we have all these jokes about res bikinis, and like it'd be basketball shorts and like a t-shirt, like a full t-shirt. And it's like, it's okay to show our bodies. It's okay. Like, we cannot control what anybody else does but ourselves. And it's okay to love yourself however you look. There's so much negativity with people thinking like, gee, you're just skinny. Like, gee, holy, you're skinny. And we know it's not okay to call someone fat. We know it's not okay to like say the F word, meaning fat. Like, it's not okay to do that. And it's not okay to do the opposite. It's just, how about just say nothing? How about if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Like, I think all of us have learned that at one time or another. But if you do want to be complimenting, how about I love you? How about you look beautiful? How about I'm really inspired by your fitness journey? There's so much other vocabulary words that we can use in a positive way. But there's been like it's like trauma and shaming and bullying that's been going on and happening. And I've reached out to my niece and my cousin and many times and said, thank you for being so positive about your bodies. Thank you for that. This is an example right now about a boundary. I'll go into the next story. So I've been one to really be nervous, and like, even though I love my body has changed since I was in my early 20s. I was like 120. Now I'm 200. And it's been like, oh, I've been really skinny. Okay, now all of a sudden I'm a mom and my body's changed. Okay, now here I am. I'm more curvaceous. I like have more curves, and having every stage of my life I was transforming, but so is my body. And so now that I'm at this area that I am, and the age that I am, in a different stage that I am, I realized that I just got to love myself the way I am. I was always working out to get somewhere that I didn't even know where I was trying to get. It wasn't just about health. It was about being accepted by others. It was like being liked. It was like being attractive. It wasn't taking care of my physical health when I was working out in the gym, it was solely, a lot of times it was because I was being negative about my body and I wasn't speaking or saying nice things internally. So externally, kill yourself in the gym. Like, go as hard as you can, and you're still not going to get the results you want because internally you're broken and you're mad at yourself and you're repeating the shame from other people, and it's like a broken record or like a CD skipping in your head. And so
Mm-hmm.
it was important for me to have that realization. And how can I be kinder to myself? How can I have compassion for myself? When I go work out, that's for my health. And if I start going into that old behavior of not speaking kindly to myself, I have to like put myself in check and say, this is not okay. And you remember what you came here for. It's for your health.
Mm-hmm.
You remember what you came here for. It's for your spirit. It's for your mind. It's for the connection of your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. It's
I
all of
love
that,
that.
not just the physical. And I had to like remind myself and get after myself. And so anyways, I was at the this woman had said to me, can we take a picture together? And I said, yeah, we can. And I had this shirt on. It was very fitting, and I had some of my cleavage showing. And that was new for me, to show my cleavage. I just felt like before I'd feel like no way or gee, as if, but I was like, I had my shirt and my cleavage was showing, and we were gonna take a picture, and I was in back of her and I was smiling, and then she turned around, she's like, holy cleavage, she's like, cover that up or whatever, and I was like, no, I'm okay, I don't need to cover it up. And then she took another picture and she deleted it again because my cleavage was still showing, and my body and showing my cleavage was bothering her. And so she turned the camera sideways and she took her third picture, and she cut my right here out so she could feel more comfortable about my body. So the way she did that was to shame me, and it bothered me. I cried after that. Like, I went for a drive with my daughters and I had told them like that really bothered me, and I was crying, and I spoke to my other inner people and I told them that I didn't know how to feel about that. Nobody has ever talked to me like that and told me that they didn't like something about me and my body, like right
Mm-hmm.
to my face, and tell me to cover up. And it felt like degrading. It felt like shameful. I felt wrong. And I was like, no, I'm not. This is my body. And I was like, why didn't you say something? I was mad at myself. But not until this woman said to my daughter, holy short shorts. And my daughter came to me, not in, was I ready to use my voice. And so I communicated with her. And maybe if it was in my early 20s, I would have been like ready to argue and ready to
Yeah.
say something degrading or try to be intimidating or try all these tactics that don't work anymore for me, because I'm choosing a different way. And the different way is communicating. It's using my voice to be heard in the way where it's setting a boundary. And I reached out and I said, I explained what happened and how that hurt my feelings, for her to comment on my cleavage. I'm
Yeah.
barely learning to accept that about myself and to be okay and to love myself. And I said that was degrading, and it doesn't feel good. I'm setting a boundary to not comment on my body nor my daughter's,
Yeah.
or what she wears. I'm setting a boundary that if you don't have anything to say, please don't comment on our clothing or our bodies. And it's not easy for people to get boundaries set with them. It's new, and not a lot, I get it, not a lot of our people do set boundaries, but it's a time now where we're taking care of ourselves and we're learning to use our voices, and we're accepting our bodies however they look, and however we want to dress, that's acceptable and that's okay. If we don't want to dress a certain way, remember that you don't have to dress a certain way, but remember not to judge others because they're doing something that you would never do. And it's like, remember that you're judging. Remember when you're looking at someone, however they want to take care of their body. And if that includes surgeries cosmetically, do not judge anyone. Let them. They feel more comfortable doing that, and that's okay. If we don't feel
Mm-hmm.
like that, then that's okay. But we just have to love everyone, and we have to let, and that includes their bodies. It doesn't just include certain people. We have to like love them wholeheartedly for their everyone has their imperfections, and that's what it means by that. Like you might not do that, or you might not
Yeah.
like what I'm doing with my body.
But that's just me.
Yeah.
But this is what I do.
Yes.
Like you might be different. I think too, like when people comment too, like on your body, like and you're confident, like you're like I look good, I feel good, so this is why I dress the way I dress, because this is what makes me feel good about myself. And then when somebody comments on that, it's like another somebody just shot at you and you're like, oh, and that happens instead of encouraging. Because for a lot of people though, before they show a little skin or whatever it might be, wear a swimsuit, they don't see that it might have took a couple years or a couple talks for that to happen, because you have to be comfortable to even be able to do that. And for a lot of people, that's hard, that's difficult, because you have to work up to that. Like, are people going to look at, and these are already things that are going through people's head. What are people going to think? What are people going to do? And then you do it, and then you get it. But I like that you can handle it like, this is me. You don't have to follow the things that I do, just the way that I dress, or like reveal your skin in any way. But this is me, and you're different. You're a different individual. You can live your life a separate way, a different way.
Yeah.
And I think too, it's always important to acknowledge that, because I know sometimes, we can have these conversations and people take it the wrong way. Like, well, I'm not like that, and people get offended. But to remind people, this is just me. This is my experience. This is my life. I'm not trying to like offend anybody because of, some of the things that you might do, whether it's, whatever it could possibly. Where'd you go?
Sorry, my freaking Bruce. I threw him outside when somebody showed up, or when one of my girls' friends showed up, and then I threw him out in the backyard because he was barking. He was being the guard dog that he is. No, just kidding. And I threw him out, and then when he went to come in, he scratches on the door. So the whole time you were talking, I could hear him scratching on the door.
Oh,
that little bugger.
That's okay. Something I kind of wanted to just like take it back really quickly here is when you mentioned like, oh, you're too fat or you're too skinny, and like how people are so okay to say you're too skinny, but then when it's saying you're fat, it's like rude.
Yeah.
And that was something that I had to deal with too, is like, you're really skinny, you're super skinny. I know I was skinny. I couldn't help it. I could eat as much as I wanted to eat. Like, we're all different, high or low metabolisms whatsoever. But when I started to put on weight, people noticed, oh, you're putting on some weight, you're gaining weight. And then, was I too fat? Was I getting bigger? Was I getting heavier? But it wasn't in an unhealthy way. So how can it was hard for me to understand how people are so easy to say, you're so skinny, or that girl's skinny, or whatever it might be. But then when you see somebody, who's a little heavier, but then to say that person's fat, and then it's rude. So people have to, keep in mind, like, it's the same thing. People with heavy struggle with the same thing, that if somebody was skinny, that, maybe that person's skinny and struggles with some eating disorder, or maybe that person just can gain weight. So you can't judge them because
maybe they like being skinny
or too fat. Like, maybe people are comfortable.
Yeah. Like,
and
that's something I had to learn in my growth too. Is like, I'm not sitting here saying perfect and I just learned all about body positivity. Me too. It's been a journey, and I have had to learn by calling somebody like, gee, look, or oh, your wrists are just skinny. I remember saying that to my girl Yuma, and she was like, she made a funny look, like, and I said, do you not like that? Did I offend you, or is that not? And she said, yeah, I don't like that. She's like, a lot of people always say I'm skinny, and I don't like it. And I was like, okay, I'll work on that. I didn't know that. I didn't know you didn't like that. Yeah. And she was a little girl, she was probably 8 or 9 years old. And I was there, the adult, having to check myself and learn and grow from a young girl, saying, listening to her and understanding that, because I could feel it, that it bothered her. And it doesn't feel good when we're commenting something that we feel like, oh, that wasn't my intention. But when the damage is done, man, the damage is done. And also my older daughter, Sapphire, she continues to teach me too, like about body positivity. And I'll be like, gee, you're just skin, or gee, my girl, you're skinny, you're just in shape, or just however. And she just looks at me like there's not really anything I can do. But it's just like it's been a comment that I was trying to make a compliment, but it's not, it doesn't work. So it's like, you can say you're in shape, you can say you're athletic, you can say like I admire those things, but saying skinny, like, it's just, it's been used so many times in a negative way instead of an uplifting way, that it's not okay. And I know that by experience of being corrected by the younger generation who freely
Mm-hmm.
know how to use their voices. And just know when you're growing and you're healing, that you're open to being corrected too. And just because we're older and, oh, I'm older, I'm wiser, I've had to educate as a younger person the elders or the aunties and uncles too, by like correcting them. I was at a powwow, and this auntie that I usually see a lot, she's always at powwows, and she kind of comes up to me and she hugs me from the side and looks at me like this, and she's like, "Gee, my girl, you're getting chapa," and chapa means fat in our language, or chubby. "Gee, my girl, you're getting chapa," and this lady is probably like 70, in her 70s, and I looked at her and I put my arm around her too, and "Gee, my girl, you're getting chapa too." I said that to her. And she looked at me and I was like, "The only difference is that I'm young and I can get rid of it." And then I started laughing. I said, I was like, and, and she looked at me and she's like, "Oh, gee, yeah, I'm older or whatever." And she kind of like started laughing and she switched the subject. And I was like, I looked at her and I said, "You're really body positive, huh?" Like that. And she started talking about something else because she didn't want to talk about it anymore. But that was me using my voice, setting a boundary, and letting her know for the future when she calls somebody something, mirroring her, that you don't get to do that. Like, that's not okay. And it might come off as disrespect to some people, but it's, if you're going to be disrespectful, no matter what age you are, just know that I'll snap back, that I will disrespect you back, because
Stick up for
I
yourself.
am valuable and I love myself, and I'm in a time where I'm using my voice and I have to stick up for myself. And if you don't want to be body positive about me and no one's around, like, I have to stick up for myself. Like, nobody else is going to stick up for me. And I always wanted that. Like, I'd always run back to my mom in that incident, if that happened, tell my mom, she'll get a hold of so and so some kind of way and bitch him out. And I can't always do that. I can't rely on my mom anymore. I'm a mom, I'm a leader, and I have to speak up for myself, and I have to say when something bothers me and give it back to them. You want to hand me that? I'm going to hand it right back to you. And I'm going to use my voice. I'm going to look at you and I'm going to stand here in the discomfort that you created. And it's so important to use your voice and to be fearless. After that, I cried. Every single time I'm setting these boundaries or using my voice, I cry. Because in my head, I feel like, was that okay? Was that wrong? I don't know. It felt good in the moment, but I'm scared. Is that all right? Is that person going to like me? Or, and I'm reassured by myself by saying, it's okay. Just, you used your voice. That's all right. And sometimes I even throw up after I say something to stick up for myself, because it's been so long that I've suppressed my voice and actually what I want to say. Somebody recently commented on my Facebook post on my personal page, who I really love. This person commented and said, "Don't be cussing, or don't be using cuss words." And I said, "That's just how I talk." And this person probably hasn't heard me cuss a lot, because I'm just not, I wasn't open to it. But
Yeah.
now I'm like, I'm more open to it because this is how I am and how I talk. And I want to be real and authentic and this is how I talk. And a lot of people make it so taboo, like, oh, like you're cussing. And I've always cussed. I just suppressed it and I wanted to live up to the label of being a good girl. But it's like, you don't tell me not to cuss. Like, don't tell me how to live my life, because I'm not telling you not to drink in the closet. I'm not telling you to hide away. Like, I know what you're doing, and you don't see me here saying, well, you don't go drinking around then. If you don't want me to cuss, then you don't go drinking around, because I know that you drink around. I know that about you. Who the fuck am I to like tell anyone how to be? Like, I accept that about that person who drinks around. Like, I accept that. I'm not going to call you out on how you're living your life, because you know how you're living your life, and that's not okay if that's okay for you, that's okay. But like, and what's okay for me is okay for me. And I want my wholeness to be accepted and loved, and I'm going to accept your wholeness. But when you're trying to like tell me how to live my life and like tell me what's right from wrong, check yourself first. Check yourself first, fam, because you ain't following that straight line like you are perceiving to do. Like, and I have, I joke around as Auntie Beatrice, and I say that's one of the latest jokes I've been saying is, you're going around and you're trying to judge. Like, you went to school to be a judge. Like, somebody asked you the power to judge. Nobody fucking asked you to judge. So I don't want to hear it from you. And if you're judging somebody, you hold that mirror this way, because that's who you're really judging. That's one of the latest of Auntie Beatrice.
Holy, that's crazy how you could just switch like into Auntie.
Yo, I should have did this. Hold on. A. Hold on, let me switch into Auntie. A. I'll do that on stage when I start doing myself. Then I'll be like, oh no, I'm turning into Auntie. Hold on. A. Beatrice here. A.
Do that again. She's like, no.
A.
Okay, we're getting to the end of the night here. The sun's going down. The street lamps are gonna come on. So curfew. No, I'm just kidding.
All you Reds kids, get in.
Anyways, man, this has been great. I'm glad that we can talk about, have this conversation, because it is very vulnerable, and it's even hard for me to like talk about those things. So you're helping me in that way be able to, share the way that I feel about myself, the things that, I do and say in my life, because it's always different, when people say you have this pedestal, you have this, thing behind you that, you're supposed to live, or you're a comedian, and, I like do this leadership stuff. And sometimes we feel that pressure. We feel that pressure that we have to be a certain way, or we have to talk a certain way. We can't cuss, or we can't, say whatever it might be, because we're always so worried about what other people are going to think, what people are going to say about us if we do that. And that's something that I've had to feel too. And so sometimes I just have to remember that, this is me. I am Haley Rose, and I'm going to be, who I want to be, because that's just who I am. And if I'm trying to pretend to be somebody that I'm not actually being who I am. I'm not being truthful to myself, but I'm not being truthful to you guys either, because I know this person that you want me to be, and that I have to, show everyone who I am in, through the spotlight, because that's what it is. You have the spotlight on you because a lot of people watch what you do. So you feel that pressure, but sometimes you have to, step away from that and say, I have a life too. And I'm going to do the things that, I love to do, talk the way I talk, walk the way I walk. And, some people aren't going to like that, but that's just a reflection of who those people are. Mm-hmm. And if they judge you, if they say disrespectful things to you, talk behind your back, give you mean glares, those native glares, like, I'm just kidding. But, like, judge you in whatever way. It's sometimes I have to remember, like, it's a reflection of them too, in most cases, about, the way that they're feeling about themselves, or the way that they feel as an individual in the society that we live in. And yeah, just like that pressure. And it's always difficult when you have, like the things behind it, your comedy and stuff like that, to talk about these things and be vulnerable. And, like, I appreciate that you can be honest about this stuff, because like I said, like, people forget we just have normal lives. We do, normal people things. And we feel that pressure to be vulnerable too, because, it's in the public eye now. People are listening to this, people are seeing this. And so we always got to watch what we say. Well, it hurts someone, but it's also important that we show you who I am, that I show you who I am as Haley Rose, because at the end of the day, when I go lay in bed, I'm not like, good evening, everyone. And, I'm not, that jumpy all the time. I'm not that, always youthful, but that's how, people will see me when I'm out. But, at the end of the day, I just, I like to be with family. I like to joke around. I like to do whatever. And we feel that pressure. So I really admire that you can be vulnerable and step out of your comfort zone to talk about these things, because people pick up on this. And, it attracts people about your honesty and you being authentic about who Tonia Jo Hall is, not who Auntie Beatrice is, but who you are, and the mother that you are, the great auntie that you are. And just being truthful to yourself, because when you're truthful to yourself, you're being truthful to everybody else out there. So that's really important. And I'm gonna give you the stage after I just had it. I'm just gonna let you hop on here and greet everyone in a good way for the rest of their week. It's been a long hump day. Just kidding. Just share some advice with some of the viewers that are watching. Any good words that you have to share, because we love it. And share some positivity in any way that you can, and we'll get this going.
All right, I just want to say thank you, everyone who tuned in. Thank you to Newo Wellness for thinking of me in a good way, and really thinking, like, who we should have on here? We should have Tonia, Auntie Beatrice. Every time I feel really excited when I'm invited to the communities, or I'm invited even to a podcast. I really look to the Newo Wellness founders, Kayla, Shayla, even the new podcast queen herself, Haley. And if I forgot anyone on a part of Newo, I apologize. But it's been really beautiful being able to see you guys grow and flourish as an indigenous and native owned business. And I have your guys' back, and I love you and I support you. And I just wanted to give advice to everyone and anyone who's watching, whether it's live or you watch it later. I just want to tell you to be brave, to be courageous. It's really vulnerable for me to let you guys know that I am sober, that I don't drink, that I don't smoke cigs, that I don't smoke weed. Most of my life, probably from 5th grade on up, I dabbled into weed, and it's been about 4 years that I haven't smoked. And I made a commitment. I made a commitment to my culture and my traditions, that I was going to be free of smoking weed. And I have no judgment on people who do, but for me, I made a commitment and a vow. And alcohol, I don't drink alcohol. That's just been something that wasn't for me at an early on age. I always knew that growing up around alcoholics. And I do feel like it's important for me. It's also really embarrassing for me to talk about being sober, and I haven't really uncovered why. I feel like I've always wanted to, like, fit in and be wild and crazy with everyone. even though I wasn't like drinking. I always want to be the life of the party. And sometimes being life of the party calls for me to be around people who are partying at times. And I just want to say my best advice is sometimes we make sacrifices for the things that we want. It's important for you. It's a sacrifice. Taking care of your mind, your body, and your spirit. Sobriety, being on the red road, it comes with that. Comes with that. It's a hard road. It's not easy. And you even get ridiculed on this road. I'll tell you that. But this road that I'm walking on, this red road, this road of sobriety, it's rewarding. A lot of good things come to you when you pray and when you surround yourself with other people on this road. It's a beautiful road. And I don't judge anyone who's on any other road. I don't judge you. But I do want you to know that to love yourself and that it's possible. And to remember me, if you do want to come on this road, to remember that it is possible. And there is some of us who grew up around alcohol and who are making that choice to not follow that same path. My parents were a huge influence on me living this life. They wanted me to live a different life, to make a different choice. And so I did. And I do it for myself. I do it for my spirit. I do it for my daughters. But most of all, I do it for Creator and the spirits. And that ain't a fucking lie. Like I do. Like I walk my walk. And I wanted to share these words with you guys today to remember to be authentic, to be real. And I mean that in the most realist way. If you aren't on this path, no judgment to you, brother, no judgment to you, sister. But I do want those brothers and sisters who do want to be on this red road to know that I'm on this road, and I'll be waiting for you. And if you ever decide to come, I'll be here. Just know that there's somebody on this road that's walking it. And I'm not a leader. I'm not a role model. I'm just fucking living my life and trying to do my best. And I make mistakes along the way, but I'm living my best fucking life. And thank you, Newo Wellness, for having me on here. It's been a good journey so far, and I'm thankful for everything that you guys are doing to create positive changes in our communities. Doksha Kewachian Kapikte and Audio Gods.
My heart. Thank you so much, Tonia, for sharing those words and having a conversation with me, but not only me, the whole Newo Wellness community as well. We're so thankful, grateful, and blessed that you could come on here today and share, some great knowledge, your story, your personal growth, individual growth, and to be able to share that with other people who, are watching either live or not, but to be able to be vulnerable and comfortable with me, even to come on here and share a little bit about yourself. So thank you so much. I'm so happy. And this conversation has been great. And, I always like to say for other people out there, take something from this, learn from this, grow with us. This is a space to grow and nourish all aspects of self, mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. And that's what we do. That's what Newo Wellness is about. And that's always what we want to, spread to other people around us as Indigenous people and to non-Indigenous people as well. So thank you, Tonia, so much for coming on Nanaskomin. I am so grateful that you could be on here today. And I hope you guys took something away from it. We're going to have to end it there tonight. And I'm going to go take my eyelashes off and I'm going to wipe my makeup away off. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. Newo Wellness is doing some exciting things. There's a golf tournament tomorrow. And man, just a lot of great things happening in the future. And, we couldn't do it with everyone else out there who were there to support us and support the founders, Shayna and Kayla. So we all thank you for everything that you do for us. So with that, everyone have a great night. Peace and love.